we are in British Museum in London, and we are here to do some interviews with people that arranged the event about Ashurbanipal, the King of the Kings. Right now I have Nineb Lamassu with me for some interviews. Nineb, welcome.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be with you and Assyria TV. I would like to greet all of your viewers, those that are watching us from Sweden or anywhere in the world. I know you get to everywhere, so yeah, greetings to you and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. What do you have for position that are connected with this event?
I chair Assyrian Language and Culture Trust, and together with the British Museum, the curators, the main two curators, Gareth and Carine, we organized Living Assyria Day, which is a special day on the 22nd of February, where we have organized a number of events, concerts, fashion show, folk dancing, poetry recitals, and a number of other things as part of the I Am Ashurbanipal, King of Assyria, King of the World exhibition, to really express something which all Assyrians feel. We are not just those reliefs that or artifacts, steles that you come here and appreciate as ancient art, but we are living a nation that still survives and is struggling to survive and continue surviving.
When you see a lot of Assyrians today coming to the exhibition and see the artifacts, what comes through your mind? Tell us about the opinion to see all the younger generations also.
Continuity and resilience. This nation that has been subjected to continuous persecution, torment and genocides and massacres still survives where I see the ancient artifacts as if Ashurbanipal is coming out of these reliefs and merging and manifesting in unison with an Assyrian child that is mesmerizing his king on an artifact. So to me, really, in a simple word, continuity of a strong nation, resilient, resolved, not only to continue surviving, but to contribute to international world civilization like their predecessors, their ancient forefathers and forebearers, I should say, because foremothers also contributed to the world civilization.
Okay. I have another question about the Swedish journalist that wrote about this exhibition. He was comparing ISIS with the Assyrians. For him, what he wrote was the ISIS is newbies, amateurs, to compare to the Assyrians, who is the professionals with these killings and so on. What do you think about that, comparing that he did?
Well, I would like to quote H.W.F. Sachs, a renowned Assyrian Assyriologist, who's sadly passed away, and taught here, not very far from British Museum, and in fact 2 streets there, at SOAS. And I studied at SOAS Assyriology where he taught. He says 2 things. At that stage, everyone this was the civilization of that time, right? They were harsh in their treatment of their enemies. But Assyrians exaggerated that on their art and their palaces and their war reliefs, simply because they were trying to engage in a psychological warfare in order not to commit these often. These were part of a psychological warfare, and he calls them defenders of civilization. Yeah, but I don't want to be an apologetic. I am an Assyrian, and I am proud of my roots, but first and foremost, I'm a human being. Now, every nation in this world has dark pages in its history. We as Assyrians, we should face these dark pages and make sure that we address them and address them in the correct way, where we don't give an opportunity for such journalists to come and make such an culturally insensitive comparison. This is a very post-colonial discourse. Yeah, it is simply offensive to compare a people to their tormentors. The Assyrians have been direct objects and subjected to direct genocide, sex slavery. They have been driven away from their homelands by ISIS. Now, to compare them to ISIS, it's a huge offense. Now, it is basically, I want to draw a comparison. You know, if you read your Bible, Old Testament, Saul, the Hebrews, when leaving Egypt, going back to Israel, Judea, and Palestine, and Canaan, they committed a genocide, an utter genocide against the Amalekites. This is in the Old Testament. It is unacceptable if a modern-day journalist was to compare the Holocaust to what Saul did in the Old Testament to the Amalekites. Just is not right. I would be the first to denounce this and fight against it and stand against it. Therefore, from this perspective, I would also denounce what this journalist, the comparison that this journalist has drawn between the modern Assyrians, the atrocities faced by the modern Assyrians under ISIS to what their ancestors have done in the past. This is unacceptable, and the newspaper should apologize, official apology on behalf of their journalists to the Assyrian community. Because very simple, it's not right to compare the Holocaust, what Hitler and the Nazis did, which was horrible, okay, against the Jews, to what the Hebrews, the ancient Jews, did to the Amalekites. It's not right. Such comparisons are post-colonial and they have no place. Such a discourse should have no place in a democratic society, in a democratic state such as Sweden, yet alone in a newspaper that is widely spread, such as the newspaper of this journalist.
Thank you, Nineb, for those words. This is all my questions for you. Thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And soon I will have one of the Co-Curators for the British Museum with me for some questions also. What are the value of the Assyrian relics for the museum here?
The objects, the Assyrian objects that we have here in the museum are of extreme value, obviously, extreme cultural value. And we're really happy to be displaying them in this major exhibition, Ashurbanipal, because it allows the public and a really big amount of people to see these objects.
Thank you. And the other question is, the things that is happening in Iraq right now, the ISIS have destroyed a lot of objects, Syrian objects. Have it increased the visits here to the exhibition?
I am not sure about that, but the last bit about in the exhibition addresses the recent destructions that have been happening in Iraq, and the British Museum has been collaborating very closely with the Iraq State Board of Antiquities, and especially on a special project called the Iraq Scheme, where we're training here Iraqi professionals of the State Board of Antiquities, curators, conservators, archaeologists, in different techniques of archaeology retrieval, emergency retrieval. So they come here at the British Museum and then the training continues in Iraq. So we address that part as well in the exhibition, and it is definitely an inherent part of the exhibition, and it is something we want to talk about and we want to make people aware of.
What is happening here in this museum 9th of February?
So on the 9th of February we're organizing a study day called Perceptions of Assyria, Arts, Cultures and Politics. So we are addressing how ancient Assyria has been affecting or has had an impact on political issues, art and culture from their discovery in the 19th century. In the third part of the day we will be addressing contemporary modern Assyrian culture and folklore, and Nineb Lamassu will be speaking about that, but also Dr. Erika Hunter from the SOAS will be talking about how Ormuz Rassam has had an impact in the creation of modern Assyrian identity.
And you have also an event, Assyrian Living, the 22nd of February.
So on the 22nd of February we're organizing a late event here at the British Museum, which is basically organized and curated by the Assyrian community for the Assyrian community, where we will have different activities, a fashion show, a dance, folk dance show, Assyrian food. So yes, this is a free event, will be taking place during the whole evening, and is really created by the Assyrian community for the Assyrian community.
So it's Assyrians that is coming here and doing this on their spare time to help with the events?
Yes, absolutely. We've been, and there is also music, a concert, yes. So yes. So we're really grateful for all this help brought from the community to us.
That's great.
I really suggest that the tickets for the exhibition be booked in advance, because this would be the last weekend of the exhibition, so it promises to be quite busy. The event in itself will be free, but access to the exhibition is made by with a ticket, so do book your ticket in advance.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.